God, that was just using that. Great.
See the year remember? We're a far cry from being broke in July.
Thank God. Hey, I just go by what I was being told.
Oh, I know.
What I love, because I go into the towns
I'd like to bring meeting order at 6 o'clock. I'd like to start with roll call.
Gravel,
Here.
Sudenbach,
Here.
Donaldson,
Here.
Enfield,
Here.
Caps,
Here.
Weirs.
here.
Everyone's present. Okay, if everybody would stand and face the flag. Councilman Sudenbach, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And David, would you please step forward here and say prayer over the city and the council and our community and God love us.
Yeah. Lord, I am so thankful that you are such a good and righteous and just God, and you are a merciful God and a forgiving God, and we are grateful that you extend grace to us. Lord, I thank you for the grace that we get to experience of living in Linn Valley. Thank you, Lord, for the beautiful lake, Lord, for the beautiful scenery that we have, God, and thank you for the beautiful people that live here. God, thank you for those that you have raised up to oversee and to steward this community and the resources of this community. Thank you for the tough decisions that they have to make, Lord. Thank you for the debate that they have amongst each other, God, and thank you, Lord, for the way that they continue to serve faithfully. I pray tonight that you bless this meeting, God. Bless the decisions that are made. Give this group wisdom and discernment, Lord. Help them to make decisions, Lord, that are right for the community. And, Lord, even if they're on different sides, Lord, help them to be gracious and kind in the way they communicate. And, Lord, we know that they all desire to make this a great community and continue to see it flourish. We thank you and praise you for Jesus Christ. And it's in his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, David.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Legal counsel, Jamie, is running a little bit behind. And he had a busy last week, I know for sure. One day I was trying to get a hold of him. He was at the hospital. His son took a dive and cracked his head, but he said, you know what, it's normal stuff kids do, and we're on first name basis in the emergency room. So, with all the kids he said. So,
I happen to know somebody who has a frequent flyer.
Yeah, I have
frequent
frequent
flyer
flyers.
there you go. Now that we're moving forward here, I would entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes December 9th of 2024.
Motion to approve the December 9th, 2024 meeting minutes as provided.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Mindy, that'd be 4-0. Mike wasn't there, so.
Okay. Very good. Clerk's report. Mindy, vouchers?
We had a total income in December of $27,210.29. The total vouchers were $79,503.61. The public safety reserve is up to $66,813.98.
Any questions, council? If you notice what's in front of you is the closing of December 2024. Everybody would take a look at what was remaining in our operating checking at the end of the year. That's a good carryover for the year. We've had a lot less in the past, and our goal isn't to see a great deal of carryover. However, there's a lot of things that happens through the year with the budget, like employees being gone, higher salaried and more tenure employee, like Karen retiring in July, you know, so that money, you know, stays in the account. And as we would look at this, we'll discuss at a later date how we would like to utilize that. Okay, so you know what, in years past, we had put it in a capital improvement fund. You know what, and the state requires so many rules for that capital improvement fund that the rules were designed for cities that have $200 million in a capital improvement account. You know, we have a mere $47,000 and we have to come up with a 5-year specific plan to the penny to how we spend that. So we'll delegate that, mitigate it, talk about it, and decide how we want to continue to move forward with the capital improvement fund in the future. Okay, I do need and entertain a motion to accept the vouchers for.
Motion to approve the vouchers for December 2024 in the amount of $79,503.61.
I'll second.
Conversation? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, passed. Okay, COLA. Mindy?
I provided, we had budgeted 3.5%. The increase was only 2.5%.
Mhm.
So I have the gross wages for 3.5 and 2.5.
Mhm.
The difference is 3,806.15 gross.
The city budgeted for this 3.5%. Last year, the reason this comes so early, I would remind the council that it was May before we finally got COLA. Was it
March.
April, or when was it?
March. I think it was March or April.
It was late. It was late. That's why it seems like it's coming back at us early. But we still have to decide what we're gonna do. These are our alternatives. Our alternative is we don't have to do anything. I mean, number one. Number two, we can go ahead and reward what we budgeted, which was 3.5%. Or she's offered a secondary number only because of where COLA happens to be landing in 2025. It's going to be at 2.5%. So, you know, with that, I need for the council to make a motion to one of those three alternatives.
I would move that we continue.
You motion.
I would make a motion to leave the rate at what we budgeted, 3.5%.
I'll second it.
I have a motion, I have a second. Conversation. Richard?
No.
Mike?
I'm good with it.
And John?
Good with it.
Very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed. Okay. We have another item on the agenda. Corey Morrison and Brett Jenkins vacation.
Yeah, they don't get that.
We put they've put a lot of work in this year in the absence of a full-time policeman. And they've done a pretty darn good job in covering the city and the community. And our ordinance says that an employee can only carry a maximum of 80 hours from year to year. Okay, it's part of the employee handbook. With that being said, Corey I don't know the exact hours, but the amount,
131.68 hours.
okay, and the amount,
$4,951.17.
very good. And for Brett,
41.5 hours, 984.38.
okay, to follow our own policy, I need the council to approve the payments to the employees. I'll entertain a motion.
I motion that we pay Corey his 131.68 hours, equaling $4,951.17, and that we pay Brett Jenkins his 41.5 hours at $984.38.
I'll second it.
Conversation. All in favor?
Aye.
Now we're broke. So, okay. Sewer report. We get one this month? Nope. Okay. I do know that, this ice hasn't made it easy on anyone, and I can assure you that it hasn't made Mike Page's job any easier with a low pressure sewer. So with that, I'm gonna slide and get with Mike and just let him know that, you know what, we're coming in with the new council, kind of like to get caught up and get back on track. Okay. Nuisance building codes report. Steve, you're up.
All right, for as far as permit applications, for the year in 2024, again, there were 264 permits that were applied for. We had 25 inspections last month, but year to date on the building inspections, we had a total of 452. That's kind of a busy year. Our nuisance reports, we've got 4 certified letters sent out, 7 or 8 violations. We've got 3 citations that were issued for the month of December. So we're on court for that. And really, that's about it. Council have any questions? Mayor?
I do not have any, Steve. I want to thank you for a good job and appreciate, you know, Steve, along with every employee, helped us get through this ice spell, this cold spell. Steve was up here every day throwing salt melt down so that it'd break away. The ladies and him were up here every day. We were trying to get the place ready, thawed, you know what, through sicknesses and challenges, you know what, we still got the work done. I have to thank everybody for their efforts and hard work. Appreciate it, guys. Any council has nothing? I do want council to go to the 3rd page of this report, where Jenny provides us the monthly sewer usages for certain areas of the community. And this is just for an FYI for those of us who think that everything doesn't come at a cost. You know, this is what the POA also has to pay in regards. So this is exactly the number that they're billed. So as you can see, it's volumes. It's why we're doing a sewer lagoon expansion project. But, you know, so as you guys have noticed there, we have some pretty hefty averages in July and August. So that's a lot of gallons of stuff.
Is the campground and, for example, the bathhouse number 5 not on here?
No, they're not on there. We don't have a meter for that.
Okay.
The campground is,
Well, they get sucked out, they get
Oh, is it?
Holden Hall, yeah.
Yeah, these are meters through our low pressure sewer.
Okay.
so that you count under the sewer.
So,
No, the campground is a holding tank, a big holding tank, and then they come and pump it out.
Okay.
yeah, that's how the park works up there, you know. They have 2 tanks, I think.
Yeah.
And
So
I've seen them
why
all
is there
pump out
nothing
multiple
showing
times.
for the first part of the year?
What's that?
Why is there, is it NA for January through June?
I would say we have that. You know what, I believe it wasn't until that specific date that I told Jenny in June or
Okay,
July
okay, yep.
that I wanted to start seeing this.
Yep.
So she had no reason to even keep this calculation until I asked her to do it.
Well, I'm glad that you had her, because people can actually see what we've been talking about. That's a lot of food.
Everything. Everybody remember the day you'd go to the airport and you had to carry quarters with you to use the John? The good old days. So, you know, guys, this could get out of hand. We gotta move forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so. Okay, public safety. Corey, you're up.
I have my report there. If you have any questions about it, I've got a couple other things I'd just like to touch on. First would be that I dropped the ball. We promoted Mindy to the captain's position at the fire department some time ago. And I forgot to bring that to your guys' attention, but I would request, in the past several years, we've been paying the assistant chief and the captain $250 a month, because there's a lot of extra paperwork and filing stuff they have to do with the state, keeping track of things. So I would ask that we give Mindy that $250 a month pay for the captain on the fire department.
Okay.
You see, it's in the budget already. That's something we've done for several years now.
So do we need to?
It just hadn't been done yet formally, so I just wanted to bring it to you guys to make sure that if you saw her getting a check for $250, you knew what it was.
Okay.
Did you have a party for her?
What's that?
Did you have a party for her?
No.
Well, congratulations.
We had a party for her. Here's
Congratulations,
the
we should have a
paperwork,
party
figure it
with
out.
cake and ice cream.
Yeah, it was a paperwork party.
Corey doesn't need the permission of the council
Yeah,
to reward, as long as it's in his budget, or to promote. Okay, so it's within his budget, it's within his authority, unless the council has any objections. You know what, thanks for keeping us up, Corey. I have a question for you. Here a couple months ago, is Jeremy, would be the opportunity of having Jeremy come to council meetings and giving us a fire department update and report?
He said he'd be happy to do it.
Okay, if you would consider that and let Mindy know, if he's willing to, I'd like to add that to the agenda next month, so we'll add another page for the fire department. Instead of being public safety, we'll do public safety and fire department. And
We'll tell him to clean up.
so,
Wear nice clothes.
how did everything go in the ice storm?
It went good. That was the next thing I was to talk. Some of you probably seen the city's big generators parked down there at the fire station.
Yeah.
That ice storm coming in, we were concerned we might lose power, so I went to the city and picked up all the material we needed, and then Sean Ward and Brett hooked all of that up into the panel down there so that we've got an outlet on the outside of the fire station now that we can just take that down and plug it in. And
Thank you for doing that,
should we
Corey.
need a warming station, anything like that, we can power that up right away.
Thank you for doing that. May not have been, it's a big building. It would have put the fire trucks out on the parking lot, but we could have kept bodies warm, you know. So thank you very much for thinking ahead on behalf of that. And my biggest question in that was, none of our department, no one got hurt. We did pretty good. Safety, everything went great. That's probably the most important thing as far as
Pretty amazing considering
I'm
the amount
concerned.
of ice that we had.
Is there something where, like, people who are medically needy, like oxygen, who could go, that we have a list of people or something?
Do what now, I'm sorry?
People who need oxygen or something.
We don't have a list of those people, but obviously in the event that the power goes down, the idea with having that generator be able to hook it up real fast was that we can power that building up, and if people need to bring their oxygen machines, things like that down there, then we can keep them warm, feed them, we can feed them. It's gonna probably be a little bit slow. We got some grills and a stove down there, but.
If I remember correctly, you guys put that out.
Yes.
Yeah, we put it out to let everybody know that just in case, so.
Okay.
So that's done, we'll get I'll probably move the generator back up this week and put it back in the barn over here. But,
So we got another storm coming up?
well, they're talking this weekend, it's supposed to get real cold again. I don't know if there's any snow or ice expected with it or not. I haven't
Part
seen
of
it
your
yet.
remodel, build a lean-to down there for that, and instead of this barn being the parking place, because this conversation comes to storage, which is gonna affect us through the projects, is this building out here gets used to park that generator. The other part of that building gets used for the sewer department, you know, for the low-pressure sewer, the wells and the pumps and all that. And it's pretty full. So if the generator was out of there, it'd give us a little bit more room, but the question for the future is where we're gonna keep water equipment. You know, when we get in the water business and we're gonna have meters and meter wells and all the equipment that we need to contract and have meters put in, we'll be storing that. Where are we gonna store it? We don't have enough storage out there. That'll be a conversation we'll probably have during the water project meetings, is that do we wanna add to this building, or what would be everybody's thought? You know, so that's something we're gonna have to think about, because that's gonna happen. Okay, so, all right, Corey, anything else, buddy?
The last thing I have is, and I didn't know you were doing the COLA stuff tonight, but I've been wanting to bring up, I want to give Officer Jenkins $1 an hour pay raise.
First, this is the first council's hearing about this, so I would entertain to the council that if you would like to go to executive session and discuss this, we can. If you feel like there's no discussion needed, we're prepared to make a motion and vote, then I would promote that we move forward with, I would entertain your idea. Do we need an executive session?
I'm good with giving him $1.
Yeah, I was gonna
Okay.
ask when his last non-COLA raise was.
It hasn't been since I've been mayor.
Yeah, so,
And he does a lot of extra stuff with helping with maintenance of things and.
Security, he's been involved with the security company, getting our cameras in and different things that I know. I've seen him up here and he wasn't in uniform, so.
He does a great job for us, and I just feel like we should reward him a little bit for that.
I entertain a motion to give Brett Jenkins $1 an hour, what's that take him to, Mindy?
okay, pre-COLA, I got those numbers.
Okay.
Motion to, increase Brett Jenkins' pay from $23.72 to $24.72, effective January
Yeah,
15th.
next page.
I'll second.
Conversation. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed. Oh, I need to know effective when.
15th, which is or the 13th, effective
15th.
today, the 15th, is that the pay?
Yeah,
All right,
Wednesday, yeah.
15th.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Okay. I have here an Olson Studio contract that I need to renew, but I can't sign it until Jamie proofreads it. But I'll bring the council up to speed to it's the same contract we had with Olson Studio last year. They plug into our planning and zoning, they're our legal planners. Okay, so when we have planning and zoning look into things, one of the things that becomes of great value is we have to have somebody that understands real estate law and understands what the state's position is on real estate law. So as we're trying to create rules and ordinances for a city, not a POA, but for a city, you know what, that we're meeting those compliances, and they help us with that. The agreement with them was we are spend $10,000, they're limited to a $10,000 contract. Example being the council's budgeted the first year $10,000 so that we could cover that contract. And we did not spend all that money. However, we're coming into this year and we're going to work on the comprehensive plan. $10,000 might be enough. However, the contract with them is the same. They can't exceed $10,000 without notification of approval of the governing body before we move forward with any more expenditures. So planning and zoning has a cap on how much they have to spend. And this year we budgeted 15 grand for that. Okay, which I think that that department may need a little bit more money. I don't know, but the contract's the same. It's a year to year. So once Jamie approves it, then he has to do that, you know, and once he approves that, I would like to go ahead and sign off on it. So if the council's not opposed to the same contract we had with Olson last year, upon Jamie's approval, allow me to enter into signing the contract for 2025 with Olson Studio.
I would motion that we allow the mayor to enter into a contract with Olson for them, not to exceed $15,000 upon approval of.
The contract actually states 10, John.
Oh.
Yeah, the contract's at 10. We budgeted 15, but the contract states 10. You know,
So you want to keep it at?
yeah, we keep it at 10.
Okay.
So that way there, we don't have to change the number.
Not to exceed $10,000 upon approval of our attorney.
Okay,
Second?
okay, conversation. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and it is just that. Once we start spending money through this comprehensive plan improvement, I'll update the council on how we're spending that money. Okay,
Well,
so.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when we were talking about that in the budget, because we were working on the comprehensive plan.
We put a little bit more in there, but that's not how they sent the contract over.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm asking you to approve the contract they wrote for $10,000 cap. Okay. Mindy, that would be, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that would be passed, so, for, upon Jamie's approval. Okay. Resolution and ordinances. Mindy, you're up.
This is the gap waiver that they do every year.
For general accounting practices.
Has to be done every year in January.
Motion to adopt resolution 135, governing the body of Linn Valley, Kansas, exempting the city from compliance with generally accepted accounting principle.
I'll second.
Conversation. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right, projects. Bring everybody up to speed. Last Friday, the bids went out for the water project. They were gone. We had the bid release, right? Mindy, I, and Robert were in City Hall, and we were online with the contractors and the engineers. And with that, I'm gonna ask Robert to give the update and the report based on what we accomplished.
So one of the original timeline was we would have the bids received by the 17th of January, and we would be awarding the bid on the January 27th, second meeting of this month. However, due to the ice and snow, some of the contractors wanted the ability to come out and actually kind of see what the ground actually looks like, you know, put a couple stakes down in the ground, see where they hit rock, things like that, and they didn't want to have to try to do that through the ice and snow. So we've been asked to extend that a little bit. So I think what it would end up being is, my understanding would be that they would receive the bids on February 10th, and then B&G needs a week to, you know, correlate and compile all the information to bring them to us, and we would be awarding the bid on the second meeting of the of February, that would be the 24th.
So you wanna move the bid date from the 17th
To the 10th of next
the
month.
10th of February?
By the end of February, we'll be awarding bids. And I would ask the council that if it gets ready before then,
Yeah.
I would entertain a special meeting to open them envelopes.
Now, we could do it the weekend between our two normal meetings if they are prepared.
Well, the thing is, this time of year, it's better to give a little more time because companies kind of shut down for the holidays, and that gives them a little more time to get back in the groove.
Well, there's
I can
that.
see why they wanted to see the ground.
And, yeah, they were concerned specifically with things like, it's kinda hard to tell where the ditches are and the tree lines are for, you know, if they're going to be rock sawing through to put things in. There was a couple, couple of different conversations that were had, where they wanted to kinda look at, can we wait and look at it when there's not ice and snow everywhere? And
When you actually
I
go,
said, well, that could be March, but,
but you
we'll
gotta
get
remember,
that later.
B and G will need the time to validate the bids.
right.
Yeah.
You know, because we'll be accepting the lowest bid. And if all this money comes in and somebody comes in at half the price, again, as we discuss this, it's the engineering's responsibility to validate the fact that, you know what, that is a awardable bid. Up to include, do they carry the $12 million liability insurance this project requires? And did they have that experience level? And, you know, those decisions will get made when the bids get dropped. So, and they have to validate that.
There was also some discussion about storage of materials and machinery while they're actually putting everything in, and we discussed a couple of different options. Up by the water tower being one, because we've already got gates and fenced in, and up here at our future side of the lagoons as a secondary area for the same reasoning. We may need to contact and discuss some with the POA, maybe using some of that area there behind the community center right here for parking their saws and their boring equipment and such.
You mean behind the office?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or through the week, you know, once the project gets started and they're into certain neighborhoods, there may be lots that they could store on, or corner lots, you know, that may be accessible, POA parking lots, like you said, just different things. And I think basically the reason that become a conversation is equipment purchasing right now. The pump that we need to come up from Lacine, as they're talking right now, one of the contractors told me that he has a 3-month window of order that's gonna take him to order that device. So I'm understanding right now that there's a material shortage right now, and that we could be asked to store pipe as they could purchase on hand. So, you know, all of a sudden, one day, we could have every square inch of pipe that's gonna run between Lacine and here, parked up here on the 139 acres. So as we have these conversations, so the council isn't surprised by things that happen once the project gets going. But we'll talk more about that in workshops.
Well, my question, Mr. Mayor and President, are you guys gonna be talking to the POA about the spots in there?
We will. We have a
Okay.
lot of things to talk to the POA
I
about.
would suggest there's several common areas throughout, like down over the hill from me, that's set aside to be a park, but there's nothing there.
Okay.
But I've noticed that there's a few of those throughout the lake area.
Okay.
The 4-wheel trails there on Holiday Drive, there's a lot of space back in there.
Yeah.
And that's all common property.
For some of the stuff, I think we would definitely want to be able to have it under lock and key, but, you know, maybe equipment or something like that we could put in some of those other areas.
But we'll have more conversation. Okay. Anything else,
So
Robert?
do we need to have any kind of motion to?
No,
bid that?
no, there ain't anything that no action needs to be taken by council tonight. We were just giving you the update based on how we progressed and where we're at.
So the bid is definitely the 10th now.
The date for them to receive them is the 10th, and we would be voting either, again, we could be doing it the next week if we want to call a special meeting, if they're prepared. But they did ask for at least 5 days, I think, 5 business days, which could be,
So
longer
they
than that.
haven't sent out the addendum yet, cause I was on Drexel this
Yeah,
morning.
that's,
Okay.
That's why I asked if we needed
Yeah.
motion for anything so that they can.
Yeah, no, they were handling all that end of it.
No,
to make
sir.
sure that was
Well,
all updated.
Not at this point in time, but at this point, I'd entertain a motion for a 10-minute executive session to speak about contractual conditions for who we're gonna hire to provide water rates.
Right,
Okay.
before we do that, may I ask another question?
Yes.
Between the three of you, I know you told me that there were several that joined that meeting. Do any of you have any idea how many companies there were?
I would like to say there was at least 12 online.
I
at
saw
one point in time.
I saw 16 blocks other than the 3 B&G was providing,
I counted 13.
and
That's all.
3 is 16, so there were
That's really
13
good.
contractors, one out of Enid, Oklahoma, one out of Tennessee.
And those were just the ones that joined the meeting.
Yeah.
We could still receive bids from people who never even.
Yeah.
Those
Just
2
going off
people
the-
came into town for it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
On
the contractor out of
Tuesday.
Tennessee flew into town, and then Tuesday morning, the contractor from Oklahoma drove up, come walking in the door.
I'm sure he didn't.
And he
see what
said,
expected.
I've been driving, I couldn't check my emails. But they were very professional and polite. You know, we don't live in an era today to where contractors book thousands of dollars in flights to drop bids. I mean, the day you have to give a deposit on plans, old school, you don't do that anymore. So, they weren't offended at all. Robert, anything else?
Motion to move to a legal executive session for contractual discussion to return at 6:47 PM.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I got 6:47, bring the meeting back to order. There was no action taken. Okay, with that, what the council has been tasked is we have to set a water rate for the city. And as we set a water rate for the city, we have to utilize a company that has that ability, okay? Carl Brown was one of the people whose name was sent to us and was very much validated by people within the state that he's very good at what he does. However, there's a program with the state called MAP. Okay, it's the Midwest Assistance Program, Southeast Kansas Midwest Assistance Program. The field manager for that person is Shelley Underwood, somebody we've worked with very much in the past. The difference is that this project will pay for Carl Brown. Okay, he charges 40 grand to do the rates for us, or 70 grand. The project will pay for it. However, with Midwest Assistance, that's a state obligated program. Okay, so that's what they do, is they help cities. When the project is said and done and it's time to set a rate, these are the very people who come in and decide how those rates get set. We could say we want $150 for a water bill. Well, this organization's going to come in and set us straight. They're going to tell us what we can charge and can't charge. With that, they offer us a variety of assistance, financial, obligation. We could be utilizing them to assist us with B&G at this very moment if we were working with them. I would need from this council to give Mindy and myself approval to move forward with having a conversation with MAP, Midwest Assistant Program, and Shelley Underwood to see what it would take to bring them back on board with us. And I would like that approval, because at that point we're not going to enter into contractual, but we will at one time enter into an agreement with them. But for now, I need this in the minutes for Mindy to provide to her that this council is okay with us moving forward with Midwest Assistance and Shelley Underwood.
Well, for any of those who don't know, including the people in the audience, this map is already, there's funding set aside every year for them to do what they do to assist these cities to help out smaller communities like ours. So
We're already paying for it.
yeah, but the beauty is the entire state's paying for it, not just
us. Exactly. So you need a motion to approve for Mindy?
For Mindy and I to move forward with the conversation of bringing them into the city. It'll require a contract with them that I'll bring to you after we've reached out to her. And because they come to us with a variety of scope of things that they can do. Okay, and I think it's unfair to hold Mindy accountable for $24 million of grant money. Okay, so I think what is fair is that Mindy has the support that she needs, okay, to continue to move forward. And we've never had a financial advisor, per se.
Then I would make a motion to allow for the mayor and city clerk to enter into contract negotiations with the Midwest Assistance Program.
And I'll second that.
Conversation? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, being it's the water project, I'll stop for a moment and ask anybody in the audience, did you have any questions regarding what just took place in conversation with the water project? Be glad to explain it, or be glad to entertain a question if it's regarding this. Very good. I'd like to move to the sewer project. We're still waiting on the state to complete the final approval. As of right now, I am not aware through B&G of any holdups or any problems. It's just a slow process. You know, if you think that a winter storm set us back a week, that winter storm set the state back 2 months. So it's how unfortunately, I think everybody's experienced how slow the government process really is. Look how long we've been working on this water project. So, any questions regarding sewer or any questions that you want me to convey to B&G? Okay, and no, I won't convey any messages of the state for you. Okay. All right, let's real quick go into a mayor's report. I want to start with I had pass these around. Go ahead and give Corey one. Pass these that way. Here's a few more.
Good evening.
Okay. With my mayor's report, I want to start with, guys, that we have a lot to do this early in this year. I want you to take a look at the workshops. George, would you like a copy of this? It's no big deal. It's just things that we're putting on list of work we need to do, sir. In this workshop, we need a city office workshop. Okay, we need to talk about what is the future for the city offices, being as we chose not to take the expense and build a new one. And so those are some of the things we have to discuss. Okay, where is it going to be? I think everybody's talked about we should just remodel up here rather than building something new, which I believe that Mindy and I could show you that we could afford a remodel, okay, and not cost the citizens anything. Where, I think they've decided here, you need to establish a time frame for your project and how you want to do it. You know, the surveys, drawings to do. The first hiccup with this one is that we need to remove that building over there. You know, if you haven't, next time you're up here, have one of the ladies take you over and show you that building, and you'll understand why we want to get it out of there. And we have an otter living underneath it, at least one.
I was just gonna mention that.
So that's one of your workshops we've got to work on this year, guys, and I would suggest that we do it sooner than later. I think that through that, I think your drawings and to get everything ready and established to try to get something put in over there, I think that could run us around 7 to 10 grand, you know. So to do a survey and you know, get a contractor to draw it up, that might be a possibility. Is that something that we can accept? Well, if contractors are that formal with drawings, then it is. But if it's not, we'll have to have a professional do that for us. Example being, other decisions that you need to make with this is going to be, how many offices do we need? What's going to be the square footage? Your common areas, your restroom. Where's our city hall gonna be? Windows, heating and cooling. There's a lot that has to go with this particular workshop. So as you look at it, I'm not going to take it on tonight, but we will need to set some dates for this. So this is information for tonight. but next council meeting, I'd like to start setting some workshop dates. The next one is, I would like to see us put put the city hall, if it stays here, on the low pressure sewer. We could afford it through our sewer cost, but we get on our own system. We decommission this lateral field out here. And, you know, we can either put an addition that way, or we can move the front of what the offices would be, and this could be a parking lot. But either which way, again, we do a survey and see what would be most practical for what we would like to do. Okay, that would be my recommendation.
I would like to add one thing to that.
Yeah.
The fire station / police station be added to that as well. It's currently on a holding hall for the sewer, and it'd be really good if it could be added right onto the low pressure system right there. And eliminate the need for.
I didn't even know you guys had a bathroom. Okay.
Even has a flushing toilet.
That gurgles every time the tank needs empty.
Water project is another, we need to have another workshop for. We have to do a water ordinance for the holding hall. Okay, so, you know, where's liability start? How do we mitigate it? How will we litigate it? But how do we, with over half of our usage being holding hall, how do we protect the city based on quality of water to the devices that gets hauled in or the devices they end up in? So we have to be very specific with an ordinance to where we start and stop. It'll probably be the second water is delivered from our towering devices, it's your water. Okay, once it leaves the water meter, it's their water. So so that'll require an ordinance, a writ for that. So that'll be a big part of what Jamie has to guide us through. Because again, we don't want to be discriminate or we don't want to miss this. So Lacine is going to be our provider. And we'll need we have an agreement with Lacine that in the middle of the summer, we're gonna be responsible for paying for 22 million gallons of water. That comes to an equation of about 67,000 gallons. Okay, whether we're running water or not, we have to pay for that water up front. Now, let's say we're not ready to deliver at that point in time. Doesn't mean we're paying for water we don't get. You know, we'll still cut that check and they'll still provide us that 22 million. But they have a grant project too, that they're responsible to. You know, I talked to Shelley Underwood about that this evening. Even the water, I'm sure that the millions of gallons that we have contracted to receive, they're starting to feel the squeeze. You know, they were expecting this business by now. And I'm sure it was in their budget. And I'm sure it was part of their operating expenses. So as we do these things, that's the importance of, we need to make sure we've got support to keep B&G moving forward expediently as we can. So, you know, with that, we have to work on that. We have to consider a backup water provider. I found out tonight that all we have to do is consider that. We do not have to contract with a backup water provider. As a small entity as ours, Shelley Underwood's not so sure she'd recommend we'd have to do that. So see, just in one phone call, she's been in support, and I really thought we were gonna have to negotiate agreement with Rural Water One for an alternative supplier. And I'm sure that would have come with, well, whether you buy a gallon of water or not, you have to pay us for 2.5 million a year. I'm just telling you, it's not gonna come free. So, knowledge is valuable. Thank you, guys. The reason we wanna be very careful, we also have to make legal arrangements that the POA doesn't become a bulk distributor. So however the POA has to take this on, remember Cindy Smith used to say, this is gonna put the POA out of the water business. Well, it's gonna change things considerably, because if they continue to haul like they do now, bulk haul to charge, we could have to write a HACCP program. And for those of you who are not aware of what HACCP programs are, it's for the purpose of keeping things sanitary and clean. You could have to clean tanks daily. You know, I don't know what the state's recommendations on them are, but if you think that washing your hands are important, I can promise you keeping those trucks clean, sanitized, and again, we come back to quality. If we're in the bulk haul business, now we're responsible for that quality. So I don't think that that should be on us. So again, I'm waiting on the answer from the POA. What do they see their future being short-term, and what do they see their future being long-term? Okay. And again, an ordinance has to go with that plan. We have to establish rates. You guys have helped me immensely by allowing me to utilize people who are willing to give me information for free on the phone. You see, so it was, you know, I'm so glad I got to talk to her. The water plant, the decommission of the water plant. The only thing that we're responsible to do is decommission that water plant. We are responsible to make sure that once we're out, we in the water distribution business will no longer be in the water making business. That plant makes 10,000 gallons a day that it gets sold to the community. Our responsibility will be to remove ourselves from that particular license of making water, decommission that plant, and our cost will be removing the things within that building that allows them to make that water. So what's in that little building is going to be part of our decommissioning. There's a tank there. If I don't do the process, it's a tank that will leave it up to the POA to what they want to do with. You know, because decommission a building is a minimal expense compared to the decommission of a 10,000 gallon tank. But I heard they wanted to use it for irrigation for the golf course. That's just what I heard. John has a better idea for what we can and can't do based on the tanks. But that brings us to another decision that has to come, and that's going to be, what are we going to do with the tanks that are going to be replaced by meters? Are we going to mandate that they be decommissioned? And how do they get decommissioned? We did that with the sewer tanks, but you know, that never happened around the lake when they started putting in meters around here. You know, everyone still has a ton of tanks under their houses. So what part of this do we want to get involved in? When I think John done some research and we legally can leave the ownership of the tanks to the owners. I mean, I think that's what I understood
That
you
is
said.
what the state told me.
Yeah, so, you know, with that, but it has to be a conversation.
If we provided them, it would be different, but since they bought them themselves.
Yeah. So, but with that, it comes a conversation. We will have to put that in writing that way, so that in the future, you know what, a new council 15 years from now doesn't sit down in here and go, oh no, you're all removing your tanks now. So again, we'll get to that. And then again,
That just makes the owner responsible for it, right?
Yes.
If something happens down the road.
yes, yeah. The other thing is that, does the city wanna get into the finance business? Example being, people who can't afford the tanks, do we want to give them, and see, I don't picture tanks costing $5,000
Meters, you
and,
mean? Yeah.
you know, I anticipate the tank to run between 1,800, or the meters to run between 1,800 and 2,400. Now, my question to the council is, do we wanna get into the finance business to help people who can't afford that lump sum? We cannot help them with the contractor cost, but because the equipment, we are providing the equipment, you know what, we could do that. You know, but the question is do we want to do it? And if so, what would be a affordable way for the city to do it? Because we don't get to collect interest. You know, they just get to pay us back, and we've got an office process that goes with financing people. Okay, Jenny will now have to deduct, you know, if it's $2,400, you'd have to, you know, deduct,
$100 a month,
yeah. So as we're doing that, and one doesn't sound too critical, but what if we, my experience around here is it's gonna be 40 or 50 people going, I wanna be on a payment program, I wanna be on a payment program.
It's gonna be based on your financial situation.
Well, we have to talk to James about that, you know, we have to be
Or
careful.
you gotta offer it to everybody.
Now, we have to be really careful on how we approach that based on, we don't violate anybody's personal rights, you know, so, I mean,
But this would be above and beyond the meters already included in the project.
oh, yeah, this is gonna be additional meters in the future for people that are getting on the system, but we gotta do the work. And before we probably can plan this meeting, there'll be probably a few more things to add. You know, once Matt gets on board, and I'm sure there will be plenty, so. Real quick, guys, I'm looking forward to working with this group, you know, through the year. You know, we have a lot of work in front of us. This is a perfect group to meet those challenges. And I want to remind all of you guys that, you know what, we are the bottom floor of legislature. I want you to take pride in who you are and what you do sitting around this building, because this is where it starts. You know, I go to state conferences and we hear about things and we have conversations and stuff. And you know how privileged I feel to know that we sit in this room twice a month and we do it right. There's no double standards, you know. We try to be we're as transparent as we can be. The second I come from an executive session, transparency, I try to share the work we're doing, if I can. So, you know, guys, be proud of what you're doing. Take some classes if you get opportunities. I know that's hard for people who work. You know, so, I want to move and pass that now, and I want to ask if we got any old business. Okay, new business. Do you have anything, Mindy?
I do.
Uh-oh.
El Capitan.
I have gotten a bid for two things. The first is a phone system
Mhm.
a phone that sits on our desk that has 5 lines that we can transfer phones, calls, voicemail.
Currently, what we do is if Mindy answers the phone, it's for Jenny, she has to walk it across the room. We have 5 phones, but this is how we get phone calls, don't
I
wanna
have
know. 2025, I'm watching 2 people
cordless
carry
phones.
phones back and forth across the room.
We have no voicemail. So they come in, it's a PBX system, like a real office. The cost for that is $9,915. That is set up. And then, that's just the one time. Then you have the phone bill. Back here, I have a breakdown of where that would come from. I also have our phone bill, if you wanna see how that is broke down. So that'd be the phone part. Second part is software. Right now, we're using QuickBooks and ClerkBooks. Neither one of them are really for a municipality, they're more for a business. The ClerkBooks, they're trying to get into utility billing and everything, it's just not working. I mean, it's not really time cost effective. This is Jayhawk Software, it's the same company, this Advantage Computer, they're out of Iowa, so they're local. So the software for setup and training is $12,164. It will have utility billing for Jenny, for water and sewer. It'll have the accounting part for me, and Lisa Coke already uses it for court. And it's more interactive than QuickBooks. With the mods it does.
Online payment accepted?
Yes.
Okay, the phone is through the same company as the software, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
He's just hooking up
Okay.
people's
Would-
phone lines to this PBX system. And then we're back to just paying this phone bill.
Okay, would you share with the council some of the other prices that you got for, bids for the same service?
Edmunds software, although they did not have the court software, was $70,000 for setup. And actually, Lacine just went to that, but Lacine has cemeteries, they have a road crew, there was so much that we did not need. And this is more than, we just need utility billing, we need budget software, accounting software that talks to each other, and we're all on the same
No,
page.
we don't talk to one another right now. Building and codes operates under their own. Court operates under their own. Police operates under their own. Fire and safety. Mindy operates under her own. So we can't communicate. QuickBooks is a good example. We can't utilize, two people can't use QuickBooks at the same time.
No, three, well, two can
Oh,
now.
I've been in here where
Yeah.
two of yous couldn't get on QuickBooks.
Yeah,
So, with that, we need something that's more dependable. The same as I know we're gonna fix the Dropbox here soon. It's just something that doesn't work real well for us, and we need to improve on it. And our ability to improve in this software ties in to the state's, for the last 5 years, cybersecurity, better programs, and we never thought that we needed them. Well, we're in the sewer business now. We're fixing to be in the water business. You know what? These programs are gonna be time savers for employees. It's gonna save the city money that we can actually, we can do this work. I mean, I sit up here and work sometimes through the day, and it just drives me crazy. I mean, phone rings and she's walking across the phone. I call up here, Lisa answers the phone, she has to walk it over to Mindy. I mean, it's like, I guess my question would be, do you have a direct line?
What you don't know is we usually hit you and just yell across.
Come get your own phone.
Yeah.
Question on the PBX,
Yes.
while I remember. can, you say 5 phone lines, can more be added?
I'm sure. We just have the 5 here now. I don't know that we want ever. I don't, we may need them in the future. Right now, we kind of, this 2912 number that we have is kind of an extra number
Okay.
anyway.
Well,
So-
I mean, that'd be a question that I'd ask. Say, you know, in 5 years, do you need 2 more phone lines?
Right.
You know,
I can ask them.
yeah.
I would imagine,
To me, it looks like it'll handle up to 20.
Yeah, probably.
okay. How would we pay for that, Mindy?
That will be paid, it'll be split between all of us. Admin would be me and Lisa, court, codes, and utilities, and sewer. Cause they do have a phone line coming through here right now.
We're initially gonna write a check for 20, we're originally gonna write a check, one check's gonna be for $9,915, you know, so, and the next one is going to be for the,
1,163
so
back here.
I'm sure you're not gonna write a check out of every department, but, where would we get the bulk? How,
It's out of the general fund.
okay, so,
And then it is $5,314 a year to keep the tax tables up to date and everything current.
Maintenance, it can include some support and stuff like that as well.
she's been working on this for a while. I think everybody realizes how far back we actually go with trying to improve things here. And we're finally to the point of, we're there. You know, years past, we never thought there was any value to our little city needing these things. You know, but when our emails are not secure enough that she cannot send something to the director of the USDA and he cannot open our emails, we have to have a better system.
So I see
And
here-
that just happened to us, not just but a few months ago.
So yeah, she's got a breakdown here of how it would be billed to each department
Okay,
for the phone system and for
And
the
water
software.
will be
Okay.
added in there when that
okay.
gets.
Everybody take a look at that so that you know where you're at with the decision we wanna make. Before you do anything, I want you to sit here, look at this, and work on a motion, okay? So that, we either do or we don't, however the council wants to choose to do this. Been working on it for a while. Mindy's done a great job. I do know that there was another company that she had entertained and had discussed this with, and who was it, told you 88,000. I mean, so,
I just kinda forget
but,
those names, yeah.
but they're selling programs that Overland Park can operate off of,
Yes, it's so much that we don't need.
so.
I mean, like, it's perfect for
that was
Lacey, but.
Sorry to interrupt, but that was the problem with that maintenance program that we were looking at. It was designed for massive cities, and it just didn't make sense for us.
Correct. You know, so, and, I don't know if there's anything more that I can really add to it than, other than we currently use Jayhawk for what?
Court.
For court, and it works
Does it have asset
Jen-
tracking?
very well.
I'm sorry, what?
Does it have asset tracking included? I.e., if we put numbers on our pumps, if we put numbers on our meters, can we associate cost to those assets?
Example being, if once we go into the water business, will this program allow us to move into the future with billing for our water? Okay, so that's what he's talking about.
And the asset itself of the meter.
Yeah.
Things like that, yeah.
I would think so. Jenny ran it in Garnett. And she's so,
Garnett's way more than us.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know, but they used it there.
Yeah.
So she's already, the only person that's not familiar with it is me, but I can learn it, and Lisa, we'll learn it.
But yet you,
Those two are already familiar with it, so.
but yet you sit here and ask for it.
I can learn anything. Just like you can learn
This will, council, this will require a contract. Okay, so until the attorney approves the contract, depending on tonight, we're gonna ask the council if we can move forward with the preparation of contract to move into a contract with Jayhawk. Once Jamie gets it, he approves it, then I'll bring it back to the council to ask your permission to enter into the signature and, enter into the contract. But for now, we can't do anything. She has done the research, provided us the research, and now it's,
Now you
Now-
just need a motion to move forward on.
yes.
Motion
Yes.
to allow for Mindy and the mayor to move into contract negotiations with Jayhawk Software, Advantage Computer, for a PBX system and an accounting software system.
I'll second.
Any more conversation? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. All right. Real quick, to the audience. Last time, anything we discussed in the agenda tonight that anybody like to weigh in on, would have any additional questions? George, yes, sir.
Mayor, I just want to clarify on the city office workshop.
Yes, sir.
What you're talking about is getting rid of the old building over there.
Number one.
This building goes,
This building will be out of lease in 2027.
and what you're talking about is in addition to the old city hall here.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
just want to be clear.
That has not been a confirmed discussion.
Exploring.
But right now, that's what the workshops are for, but not to leave my council or anyone in the dark about, we're gonna have meetings and workshops, what we're gonna do in those workshops, and they're open to the public. I will announce that these workshops will not be designed for the council to vote or make any decisions. They are workshops. However, because we will convene the 5, we will announce the workshop in the paper and so that everybody will know. So, any other questions? Okay.
I have some, that I would like to bring forward to the council. I'm gonna be reaching out to the mayor of, McPherson, Kansas. They have an, ordinance in place for Airbnb, and short-term rentals, where they have the rules and regulations for those, as well as a fee structure, that the city gets a fee when people rent Airbnbs in their city. So it's one of the ways we can get some additional revenue from visitors who come here in Airbnb, as well to cover some of the costs that we do incur as a city.
Okay. I understand that what he's asking is to reach out and gather information. I would remind the council that we've become an investment community also. Not only are we a recreational community, but we've got more and more people that are buying 2 or 3, 4 lots, and they're putting up little slumber houses, small homes, and you know what, and they're out there on the Airbnbs. We even have fifth wheels that are out there. So with that, we've become an investment community, okay? And there's a cost that comes with that. The cost that comes with that is this day and time, it's the stress that they put on our infrastructure. But the other part of it is that the number one responsibility of all of our citizens goes to the fire and safety. And it's becoming more, and this summer, we had some guests come to an Airbnb, and when they checked out of the Airbnb, they went down into the camping area and set up 5 tents and become a tent city. We didn't get involved until there were 2 truckloads of trash bags down there. So, you know, so in that particular instance, it did come at a cost. So, you know, we need to, I would ask the council to allow him to research it. I don't think
We don't need a vote for that.
I don't commit, I don't, yeah, but we do not, but as we have conversations, it's fair that we all understand what we're gonna do and how we wanna accomplish that. We wanna make 2025 a good year, and how we do that is our ability to make good choices. You know, so, and I'm not saying that it is or is not a good choice. I just know because our community has become a community of investors, you know, a couple of them pretty good size investors, that you know what this is all about, the money. It's not about the recreational side, it's about the money.
And I've been doing some research, and recreational communities make their money off of sales tax and fees that are charged for hospitality, so.
And safety, public health and safety. How do we
I'm
know?
sure that everybody in this room has been in an Airbnb and seen that you're paying that hospitality tax.
So, with that, I don't know that I heard any opposition, Robert, so if you had to bring that, I would like to, anything that you do, I'd like to see.
Oh, yeah. We'll wanna go through legal. I'll ask them for a copy of their ordinance. We'll wanna run it through legal and see what they say, how we would need to change it for our city anyway. So, yeah.
Okay, council, anyone have anything else? Mindy? Okay, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, guys. Hey, thank you very much. Good job, everybody.